Hi, my name's Andy Reid, and you're watching Alchemicast right here on Alchemical Records. This is a chance for musicians around the DMV area to come in and talk about what they've been doing during COVID and how they're holding up amidst a changing world that's going through turmoil and a whole lot of biological change. My name's Andy Reid, and I grew up in this area playing music for the last decade around the DC venues that we have learned to call home. It is my pleasure now to welcome Overthoughts, some friends I made along the way that are in a new band that they formed last year, here to talk about their upcoming single, Trust Me, and their last two releases. I have with me Will, Alec, and Kevin, drummer friend. Please welcome them into the room. Overthoughts, you guys are live.
Hello. Hey, friends.
Hola.
Hola. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Hanging in there as best we can, I guess.
Good.
Where is everyone calling from?
I'm in Bakersfield, California right now.
I'm in, where am I? Timonium, north of Baltimore.
Yeah, we'll do this order. It'll be Will, Alec, then me. I'm in Reicherstown.
Okay, and that's all in Maryland, right? You guys are a Maryland-based band?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's okay. Will, what are you doing out in California, man?
So I'm here on family business. So I'm visiting family, attending a funeral, all that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. How is everyone holding up amidst COVID?
In California or just in general?
Well, you as a band, but we can start with you, Will, if you want.
I'm good. We're basically all of us are professional musicians. You know, we teach, we play. So it's been hitting us pretty hard. I have basically four main things that I do. I teach lessons. I work the recording studio. I play, and then I have a job at a theater in Frederick. So two of those, playing live music and working at the theater, are just non-existent. There's just no jobs right now. So basically it's been teaching lessons, which has been great, over Zoom, and working at the studio, which has been a lot of fun. So coming up with interesting ways to bring people into the studio and be safe and all that kind of stuff. That's been mostly my job for the last year or so.
And which studio do you work at?
So I own and operate Damaxian Recording Studios. That's in Frederick, Maryland. So.
Right on. Yeah. Alec, how has COVID been treating you?
Not bad, actually. Well, haven't gotten it yet. That's good.
It's on everything, right? Yeah.
I do a lot of teaching as well. That's like one of my main thing. And so at first I was a little worried, like, what am I going to do? But I managed to switch everything to remote. And so I have a whole bunch of students I'm teaching through Zoom or FaceTime or whatever they can do. So I got that going on, which is actually nice. I do it right back there in my little trumpet corner.
Nice.
And I also work at a brass instrument shop, and that's still going on. So personally, doing fine. As far as the band goes, we just haven't been able to do any performances or get any band income in that way, which has made it tough. I guess we can talk about more about that later.
Without overthinking, perhaps. A band called Overthoughts. I feel like you guys are a thoughtful bunch of guys.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think so. Maybe overly so.
Kevin, how have you adapted during the pandemic?
I basically took an unwanted gap year because I finished school last December, and how long did that take me? Like 5.5 years, which isn't really that bad. It just felt really long with having to go to school part-time a lot because we were touring in our previous band a lot. So yeah, once I graduated, it was like, oh boy, I'm so excited to figure everything out about being a musician and then COVID happened. So I'm making the best of the situation though. I'm teaching and music directing at a school of rock. And that's pretty much it.
Right on. Yeah. For our listeners who don't know, Overthoughts used to be known as a band called Stacked Like Pancakes. Stacked Like Pancakes is a ska band that toured around the Warped Tour and played around the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Kevin on drums, Alec as a member of the brass section, and Will as the bassist and vocalist.
Backup vocalist, yeah.
Backup vocalist. Now you guys are Overthoughts with a new name and a new sound. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about this new sound and the transition from Stacked Like Pancakes into what you are today.
Yeah. So I don't know. We all, through the course of playing with Stacked Like Pancakes, we all got really close together, I guess. I mean, I would say these three guys are some of my closest friends in the world. And yeah, we just wanted to, after sort of the fallout that happened, there were some creative differences, and the four of us felt like we couldn't really work with Kellen anymore, but we still wanted to work together. We still wanted to make music. And so we came together to make what we wanted to make. And so we were working at that for about 2 years, I guess, year and a half, something like that. And we wrote a bunch of songs, but we didn't have a singer because I was playing bass. And in the meantime, we sort of started playing some cover gigs. That was how we were planning on funding all of it, just playing like bar gigs and things like that as a band. So we made a decent amount of money, and I was singing just because I figured it was bar gigs. Nobody's going to judge my voice. Everybody's drunk. But so we started working on these songs. And at some point I said, look, guys, like, we don't have a singer. We need something. We should get this out there because it's good music. So I started working on my vocals a little bit more seriously. And I guess last January or February, I formally auditioned and became the singer. So that's sort of what we've been working towards. Now that we had sort of a complete band, we could actually make songs and put some stuff out there.
Wow. Yeah. So you guys have changed quite a bit from humble beginnings and just producing some breakfast foods and some ska music to what you're doing now, which is a much more progressive sound. How are you guys holding up as a band with everything that's going on? Are you doing file transfers or trying to meet in the studio, wearing masks? What does Overthoughts and your schedule look like?
We haven't. When's the last time we saw each other?
Probably
October.
on Zoom.
October. So we have been doing everything over remote as possible. We've recorded pretty much the majority of our. Well, maybe not the first two songs, but like we've still been recording during the pandemic remotely. We've been working with Donnie Ingram with Dreamcatcher Studios, and he's been great at setting up the whole thing where Will can go to his studio and do like sing his vocals, and he hooks us all in. We all Zoom and we can see his screen and produce and record that way. So we've been doing a bunch of that. And that's all remote. We haven't rehearsed since last year sometime, so that's the part of it that's hit us the biggest, I would say. We would, if we got a show tomorrow, which I don't think we would, but it would be quite rusty. That's the part that really hit us hard, like I said.
Yeah, the when everything sort of shut down, I actually, because of how tight Maryland came down with COVID restrictions, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it to the studio even. I had heard rumors of like basically travel bans. So like if you're on the road and you're not an essential worker, then they would stop you and send you home. So I packed up a bunch of gear from the studio, mics and preamps and my computer and everything, and I brought it all home. And I was talking with Donnie because we were about halfway through recording both Interrogation and Ordinary, our first two singles. And we had done a lot of the singing stuff, but not the rap. And so I was talking to Donnie and I said, hey, how are we going to be able to do this? Because I still want to put this stuff out. And this is the perfect time to work on things because we've got so much time available. But we have to figure out how this is going to work. And we came up with this system where I had my computer running. I set up in my second bedroom in my apartment. And I just set up a bunch of blankets in the closet, actually, and set up sort of a improv vocal booth, impromptu vocal booth. And so, yeah, I was sending tracks to Donnie over the internet and he was receiving them into Pro Tools and recording everything. And it worked really well. We had to work out some bugs with it, but once we got it rolling, we finished those first 2 songs and then we started working Trust Me as well, doing that. So that's been 3 songs that we did entirely, all the vocals were entirely remote. So it's been pretty cool.
Well, as musicians from the DMV era, you guys know what it means to stay connected and especially how to adapt when things change. Now that shit's finally hit the fan, what does it mean to you to be a musician from the DMV?
What does it mean to be a musician in the DMV?
I feel like Kevin really can field this one because he knows like everyone in the DMV.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's brought a lot of our network closer together in a lot of ways. Just because, just like one thing that I've just been doing is just reaching out to everyone just to kind of just check up on everyone's mental health and just make sure everyone's okay. Because a lot of musicians I know right now are struggling, even non-musicians, and even just having like a friend group outside of it, it also kind of puts things into bigger perspective, like, oh cool, we have something, even though things are shut down, like we still have like a hobby, or in our case, like we actually have something that we're passionate about that we can spend an entire day doing. For a lot of people that may be out of work, they really don't have much that they can do.
Yeah, it's kind of cool seeing how the community, because I feel like it really is a close-knit community. It's one of those things I always, when I was a kid, I was like, man, there's so many musicians from the area that are just incredible. And like, I'll never be a part of this community. It's so close-knit. And then basically after joining Stacked Like Pancakes, I got to know a lot of people, and it's a lot tighter than I thought it was. I thought it was all these different people, but it's like a core group. So seeing how everybody has sort of responded, and there's different like subcategories. There's like the Annapolis music scene, which has really been doing well. They've been doing a lot of stuff to help push each other up, to build each other up during this. And then there's the Baltimore scene. Everybody's, still everybody's sharing each other's streams, that's because that's been a big thing, live streaming your sets. And so I constantly see like 8 or 9 different musicians sharing each other's streams just all the time. And it's great. It's really cool to see all of that cooperation and really to be a part of that scene, and see all of these people, helping push each other up,
And now is a time where we really need camaraderie. With the non-musicians out there, which is about half of our listening audience, what can they do to support venues and musicians in this strange time? Most venues are transitioning to something of a different model than they're used to, whether that's drive-ins or a 10% occupancy. So what can non-musicians do to support musicians during this weird, crazy time?
But I would say the best way to support the musicians, if you can't go to the concerts, share the live stream. Like Will mentioned, if they're live streaming, watch it, share it. Keep everyone aware that they still exist, even if they're not physically performing or are unable to physically perform. Keep them in everyone's minds, so that when we do get back to performing, then the best way is go to the concerts if it's safe. So keep share everyone's name, share everyone's new tracks. I think that's the best way right now.
Yeah, I think another big thing is merch. As much as it feels like, I I don't know, asking for a handout almost. There's a lot of bands out there. We're fortunate that we just started. We don't have a lot of overhead, but I mean, we have a website. We pay money to record our songs. There's a lot of fees that are associated with running a band. Our guitarist Mike, who's not here, he plays in an Annapolis-based band called Joint Operation, and I've talked with them a couple of times about they've got a van, they've got to pay insurance on the van, they've got to keep it running, they've got to support themselves, because a lot of those guys, they spend a lot of time working on the band. That's one of their income sources, so if you can't perform, merch is a big part of this. And I know a lot of people have been trying to sort of adapt. We have Overthoughts masks for sale, so they're like $12, and it's a little bit that helps. You buy one mask that pays for our website, our Squarespace website for 1 month, so that's just something easy that you can do. You get a mask out of it, you get something, you get to rep the band. And it's just something easy that you can do that's relatively cheap and still support the band, help them pay their bills and stuff like that.
Well, that is something that we can all do, is support our local musician. As musicians from the DMV like myself, what are some of the favorite places you guys have played growing up?
It's a big question.
Merriweather Post Pavilion.
Yeah. For me,
probably that.
Yeah, Merriweather was awesome.
Number one.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think when was that?
2017.
Yeah, that was the first show on Warped Tour that year. Yeah, that was really cool. For me, Rams Head on stage. Or not on stage. Rams Head live. I was just thinking about. I was watching Stefan's thing. His Stefan Hoyer. He just put out a new single, Rams Head on stage. But Rams Head live. I have gone to so many concerts there. I've seen some of my favorite bands live. Bands that don't exist anymore. I saw Motorhead there back in 2007. That was like one of my first concerts ever. And so Rams Head Live has a lot of really big musical memories for me. And so playing there was basically a dream come true. I just remember being in awe the entire time that we were playing on stage. It was so cool.
One place that I haven't played in, I know that wasn't a question, but the Wrecker, which was a thing for a while and now is back again. Somehow they're making their comeback in the middle of a pandemic. That's a place I'm looking forward to playing when we can.
Oh yeah.
And that's called The Wrecker?
The Wrecker. Recher. It's in Towson.
Oh. Okay. Well, you heard it here from Overthoughts. We got some new music coming out. Their latest single, Trust Me, comes out sometime soon. Maybe you guys could tell us a little bit about the writing process behind that song. You said it was regarding your old band and maybe some relationships between band members.
I guess I'll take this one. It was sort of my brainchild.
Let me jump in real quick. So that's coming out on March 19th. That's the official release for Trust Me, just to make sure that's out there. March 19th.
So it'll be out by the time you're listening to this.
Yes.
And maybe another song too.
Potentially.
Maybe. Well, first of all, the way we're sort of writing, which was a different thing than from our previous band, is we're sort of, one of us will sort of come up with a concept for a song and then sort of send it to all of us, and we workshop it. Like if I come up with a song, I have Will write the bass parts, Kevin will write the drum parts, Mike will write the guitar parts, and so it is pretty much all of our creation. This one is, our first two songs were more this one is heavy. This one's different. It's a different style. It's sort of like an FU song. And
it's a breakup song.
It's a breakup song. And whoever listens to it, it can be about a breakup in a relationship, a breakup in a band, whatever. And this it's a pop punk song. And so we're a new band. I think we're still sort of figuring out our sound. Like I said, the first two songs were more heavy hitting. This one is is pop punk, and maybe you can call it ska because there's horns in there. I don't. That's not the definition of ska, but
And brass rock.
it is about the last game we were in. So just want to clear
Our ex-boyfriend.
Stacked Like Pancakes still exists. So it's not like we were Stacked Like Pancakes and now we're Overthoughts. We left, we formed Overthoughts. Stacked Like Pancakes is still a thing. But yeah, this song is sort of like about that leaving and saying that we're fine. We got our own thing going on.
Where does the name of the band come from? Overthoughts.
A Google Excel spreadsheet. That's where it came from.
That's right. We couldn't decide on the name. We spent, I don't know, 2 months talking about it, and like every time we'd meet up, we decided this like a year ago. We were like we would meet up, and it's like, hey, what about this band name? So it'd be like, I don't really like that. It sounds too much like this, or it sounds too much like that. And so we like went back and forth, and we went through a couple different names that we liked, but then we used for a while, and then it was like, no, that doesn't feel right. And finally, Kevin was like, yeah, we're overthinking this, and he put that into the Excel spreadsheet, and we're like, oh, I kind of like that. That fits. And so we just
it wasn't taken.
Yeah,
it wasn't taken.
Big thing. We would
the other thing
go on Facebook, search for these names. You're like, oh, that was a good one. I wanted it, but it's taken. This one wasn't taken. So
yeah, if it wasn't Overthoughts, we were talking about Beings was one at one point, but everybody that we showed it to was like, that looks just like the word beige. Like that's the thing
beans.
that I think of. Or beans.
Sounds like beans.
Yeah, beings versus beans.
Didn't roll off the tongue.
It's hard to separate the two syllables.
Yeah, that was difficult. I really
like
like
a band called Beans. Wow,
yeah, they're like, oh, beans. That's great.
So I do have a story. I came up with Beings because I was like, I want to have a simple name like the band Korn. Korn. I went to Beans. I went from Beans to Beings. And that's how that. Anyway,
Did have a Korn.
we're not called Beings.
We're not. We're Overthoughts.
Well, Overthoughts, thanks so much for being on this show. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah,
this is a lot of fun.
Well, and for all our listeners out there, you guys can check them out online at overthoughtsmaryland.com and be on the lookout for their music.
It's Overthoughts MD. That's
MD. Overthoughtsmd.com. All right, y'all. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. And we'll be in touch. You guys have been on the Alchemicast right here on Alchemical Records. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, man.
You used to be so cool. We used to share our mind. There used to be a rule. No one left behind. But now I'm second rate. The flavor of the day. What could have happened? Wait. You were always this way. What we had was great, I won't deny it. You would fake it. We would stay up late, be told, be quiet in my basement. Sharing beds with no sleep, new adventures every day. But now you say this is the only way. Fuck you, got my trust me, just me. You said trust me, must be out of your head. I know, you know. Who knows, oh no, hell no. I can tell you, shit don't stink, so trust this instead. Since your little tantrum, I have no doubt you could make it. But look who's still here drinking your beer in my basement. I don't need your bullshit, just remember every day that I'm okay. Now I'm proud to say, fuck you!
Kevin. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.